I remember the quiet hum of the oxygen concentrator. It had been my background music for years. Every day I woke before dawn, ready to care for Mom. My own life, my career, my dreams, they had all faded into the background. I didn't mind. Taking care of Mom was my silent duty, a promise I made to myself and to her. I believed in the unwavering commitment of family. My heart was full, even as my body grew tired. I loved her fiercely, and that love fueled every task, every sleepless night. I just wanted her to be comfortable, to feel loved in her final years. Mom's health was getting worse. Her memory would flicker, then dim. She became more fragile, more easily swayed by a kind word or a soft touch. I watched her, my heart aching, knowing how vulnerable she was becoming. It was a slow, painful decline, and I felt a constant need to shield her. I tried to keep her world simple, safe, and filled with love. I worried about who might take advantage of her gentle spirit. I often sat by her side, holding her hand, just wanting to protect her from all the harshness of the world. Then, a shadow from the past reappeared. My sibling, Alex, walked back into our lives after years of silence. Alex spoke of remorse, of wanting to help Mom in her final days. I listened, a knot forming in my stomach. It felt too sudden, too convenient. Where had Alex been all these years when Mom truly needed us? I tried to push away my doubts. Maybe people could change. Maybe Alex really did want to make amends. I wanted to believe it for Mom's sake, but a cold sense of unease settled deep within me. Alex started to weave a spell. There were flowers, lavish gifts, and endless stories of missed moments. Mom, starved for connection, seemed to blossom under the attention. Alex would sit for hours, telling tales of childhood, making Mom laugh. I watched from the kitchen, a strange mix of relief and suspicion swirling inside me. It was good to see Mom happy, but Alex's charm felt carefully rehearsed. It was as if Alex was playing a role, not truly living it. I saw Mom's trust slowly shifting, slowly leaning towards Alex. Soon, the subtle undermining began. Alex would help by reorganizing Mom's medication, then quietly suggest I had been forgetful. Alex would assist with meal prep, then imply my usual cooking lacked flair. My well-established routines, built on years of careful observation, were questioned. I felt a chill. It was like a slow, insidious poison. My heart ached. I had dedicated my life to Mom, and now my efforts were being twisted, made to seem inadequate. I felt my foundation start to crack. I started to see the patterns clearly. Alex would gaslight Mom, twisting past events, making Mom question her own memories. Maya told me you said. Alex would begin, then present a completely different version. If I tried to correct it, Alex would feign hurt, claiming I was overly sensitive. I saw the false concern in Alex's eyes, the way the smile didn't quite reach them. My stomach churned. This wasn't genuine care, it was a calculated performance. I felt a growing sense of dread, knowing Mom was falling deeper into Alex's web. The isolation became more overt. Alex started controlling Mom's phone calls, screening visitors. Mom needs her rest, Alex would say, blocking me from spending time alone with her. Important conversations would happen only when I wasn't around. I felt a wall rising between me and Mom, brick by painful brick. My access to her, my connection, was being systematically severed. My heart pounded with a mix of fear and anger. It was like Alex was kidnapping Mom, right under my own roof. I felt helpless. Then I heard it. Friends and family, who rarely visited, started praising Alex's devotion. Alex was telling everyone how much help Mom needed, how Alex was stepping up to provide it. The credit for years of my tireless work was being stolen, piece by piece. I felt a burning rage, a deep injustice. My sacrifices, my love, my entire existence as a caregiver were being erased, replaced by Alex's fabricated narrative. It was a profound betrayal, not just to me, but to the truth of what I had done for Mom. The worst part was seeing Mom's eyes change. Influenced by Alex, she started to look at me with suspicion. My long-standing care, once cherished, now seemed to be viewed as a burden or worse, as a selfish act. "Are you sure about that, Maya?" She would ask, repeating something Alex had said. My world crumbled. The person I had dedicated my life to, my own mother, was now questioning my love. The emotional pain was immense, a sharp, twisting knife in my heart. I felt utterly lost, my identity as her devoted child being stripped away. One evening, it all exploded. Alex openly mocked my sacrifices, sneering, "You really think you're special, don't you? All that martyr act." The words cut me to the bone. Alex's true malicious intent, the cold, calculated cruelty, was laid bare. I stood there, heartbroken and isolated, tears blurring my vision. Later that week, I overheard hushed conversations about a lawyer, about new arrangements for the will. A gut-wrenching sense of foreboding washed over me. I knew with chilling certainty that Alex had just stolen more than Mom's love. Alex was after everything. Mom's passing was a quiet, gentle fading, but the aftermath was a storm. Just days later, the lawyer called us together. My heart was still raw with grief. Then the words came, sharp and clear, a new will. It left everything to Alex and nothing to me. I sat there, stunned, the world tilting. The years of selfless care, the sacrifices, all erased with a few cold sentences. It felt like Mom's memory and my own devotion had been utterly desecrated. I looked at Alex, who wore a mask of solemn victory, and a deep, cold dread settled in my soul. The whispers started immediately. Alex had carefully crafted a story. I was the neglectful one, the selfish child who only cared about money. It spread through our community like a poisonous fog. Friends, neighbors, even distant relatives looked at me with pity or scorn. My reputation, my identity as Mom's devoted caregiver, was systematically torn apart. I felt like I was drowning in a sea of false accusations. Every glance, every hushed conversation chipped away at who I thought I was. I was publicly shamed for a crime I didn't commit. The grief for Mom was immense, but the betrayal was a different kind of pain. I spent days in a haze, unable to eat or sleep. My years of sacrifice felt meaningless, a cruel joke played on my heart. Who was I, if not Mom's caregiver? My purpose, my very identity, had been stripped away. I felt a profound emptiness, a crushing despair. The thought of Alex basking in undeserved praise and wealth, while I was left heartbroken and destitute, was a constant, agonizing torment. I felt utterly lost, adrift in a world that no longer recognized me. One morning, I looked at my reflection. My eyes were hollow, but a spark ignited within them. The despair began to transform into a fierce, cold resolve. I couldn't let Alex win. I couldn't let Mom's memory be tainted by such lies. This wasn't just about money. It was about truth, about justice. I would expose Alex, reclaim my narrative, and make them pay for every tear, every sleepless night, every ounce of pain they had inflicted. My grief hardened into a vow of systematic revenge. I would become Alex's nightmare. I started to work in secret. I went through old emails, bank statements, phone records, anything I could find. I remembered details. Alex's sudden interest in Mom's finances, the new advisors Alex brought in, the times Mom seemed confused after Alex's visits. I found a hidden voice recording I'd made of Mom, where she sounded distressed after a conversation with Alex. Each piece of evidence was a small victory, a step towards proving Alex's manipulation and exploitation. I was building my case, brick by painful brick. I finally sought legal counsel. The lawyer listened patiently, but her words were sobering. Proving elder manipulation was incredibly difficult. She said it was an uphill battle against a well-orchestrated lie. My heart sank, but I refused to give up. I laid out all my evidence, every small detail. I explained the psychological warfare, the gaslighting, the systematic isolation. I knew the truth, and I would fight for it, no matter how hard it seemed. I wouldn't let Alex get away with this monstrous deceit. I began to carefully leak information. I contacted a few trusted, influential individuals in our social circle, people who had known Mom and me for years. I shared small, undeniable truths, hints of Alex's true character. I didn't accuse directly, but I planted seeds of doubt. I watched as their expressions shifted, as questions started to form in their eyes. Slowly, meticulously, I began to chip away at Alex's carefully constructed facade. The public perception, once so solid against me, began to waver. The moment came at a charity gala, an event Alex was co-hosting, basking in their generosity. I approached them, a cold calm settling over me. I held a printed copy of a damning email, a financial transaction Alex had made using Mom's accounts without her knowledge. I spoke clearly, calmly, just loud enough for those nearby to hear. Alex's face went white, their carefully constructed smile crumbling. The hushed conversations stopped. A dramatic scene unfolded, exposing Alex's deceit to a wider, shocked audience. I had struck the first public blow. After the gala, the tide slowly began to turn. Some people started to approach me, offering apologies, expressing their shock and newfound sympathy. The whispers shifted, no longer about my supposed neglect, but about Alex's questionable actions. It was a slow process, but I felt a glimmer of hope, a validation of my long fight. My counter-narrative was gaining traction. It was the first victory, a small step towards reclaiming my name and honoring Mom's true legacy. I felt a quiet strength return, knowing I wasn't alone anymore. The legal battle was far from over, but the public opinion had shifted. I had gathered enough evidence, built enough support, to launch a full-scale legal and public relations offensive. My goal was not just vindication, but devastating retribution for Alex's profound malice. I looked out at the city at dawn, a sense of quiet determination filling me. The pain would always be there, a scar on my heart, but I had fought for truth, for Mom's memory, and for myself. I had faced the darkness and emerged, not broken, but transformed. My revenge was not just about Alex. It was about reclaiming my life, honoring my sacrifice, and finally finding a bittersweet peace in justice. My identity was no longer defined by their lies, but by my unwavering love and my unbreakable spirit.